Hi, it's Grandma Roseanne, and it's Italian Day in our house today. The aroma throughout this entire house is outrageous. Now, on a previous video, I already showed you how to make the spaghetti sauce that I've made. It is absolutely delicious. But what we're going to do now is just the meatballs. So if you want the sauce, just go back into one of our other videos. The meatballs, some meatballs are good. Some meatballs are great, some are pretty outrageous, but these are spectacular. So it's a few steps, but I want you to take the steps with me. So the first thing we're going to do is a half a cup of breadcrumbs and 3/4 cups of milk. You're just going to mix that up. And we're going to let this sit aside just for maybe 10 minutes, okay? Now we want to get our meat ready. Meatballs are typically made with equal portions of beef, pork, and veal. I don't have any veal, but I really like the intensity of flavor in our meatballs. So what I have here is 1 pound of ground beef. Now you don't want to use the lean, don't use the 7%. You know, you're going to want to have some fat in there. What I have here is 15%. 1 pound of pork. And then for the intensity of flavor, I have 2 Italian hot sausage links, okay? So all you're gonna do is pop them in there. And you get them out of the casing ever so easy. I'll show you how to do it. You just cut an end off. Run your knife along the side and just pull it out, just like that. But all of the seasoning that's in this hot sausage is just going to add amazing flavor to this meat. It really is. Now the trick to this is you want to minimize the use of your hands on here. Your hands are hot and you want to get this incorporated really well, but you want to do it without using your hands. I've got this cool little thing here, but you can do anything. A spatula like this, mix it in really well. You can use the bench scraper, whatever you have that's good, that you're not really using your hands with. But I want that pork, sausage, and beef to be really well incorporated. It's kind of cold out there today. Even though it's March for us here in California, it is kind of cold out there. So this is a great day to make an amazing, amazing meatball pasta. So our meats are well incorporated, so now we're going to start adding all of the flavoring. Before you got here, I took 1 cup of onion, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I sauteed these until they're kind of golden. Can you take a look at that, cameraman? Let them see that. What it did is it took the raw taste out of that onion and it just created a much sweeter essence. So that goes in. I have 4 garlic cloves here that are minced. 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And typically when you're doing your salt, it's 1 teaspoon per pound. So I'm putting 2 teaspoons in here. And about 3/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. I'm using a half a cup of minced parsley. We really like minced parsley, but if you haven't done this recipe before, you might want to start out with maybe 1/4 of a cup and see if that's more to your liking. And then I have 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. Are you kind of getting a feel of what this is going to taste like? Oh, with all these beautiful ingredients. Oh my goodness. And I have 2 eggs. Eggs again are going to give you flavor. but they're also going to give you a binding ability to pull this whole thing together. You don't want your meatballs to be falling apart on you. And then take a look at what happened to your breadcrumbs when you allowed the milk to all absorb. You see what it did? That's what you're looking for. So that goes in. So cameraman, come in and look and let them see. We've got all those beautiful flavorings. We've got our breadcrumbs, the milk, the egg, all of the seasonings in there. So I just want to make sure that we have all of our seasoning, our breadcrumbs, our milk, our eggs, everything. I want to make sure that it's all incorporated very evenly into this meat mixture. And it is. Now our meat mixture is done. It's very well incorporated. What I'm going to do is just put a plastic wrap around it, just like this. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for an hour. Now, if you don't have the time, that's okay. Go ahead and form them now. But I think if you give this an hour in the refrigerator, I think you're going to enjoy the texture of the meatball much better. So I'll be back in an hour, we'll form them, and then I'll show you the end of it, which is like 2 minutes. So easy. Well, it's been a couple of hours now, so this mixture is nice and chilled. It's gonna form really well. I'm gonna use a scooper here, an ice cream scoop. Use whatever you want. You know, if you just wanna pull it out with your hands, you can. This is about the size that we like. Let me show you. A little bit bigger than the golf ball, okay? Just like that. Ever so easy. I pop them out, then I form them. All right, now then, just kind of wet your hands a little bit, form them into a nice ball, just like that. You'll feel how nice they stay together. And when you dampen your hands, what happens is that you don't have as much stick to you. Now, I used to, for many, many years, I fried these. I just did a pan fry on them, and then, I don't know, several years ago, I stopped doing that. I set my oven to 425, and they're gonna go in there for 25 minutes. So much faster. I think it's wonderful to have spaghetti and meatballs, but you know what I love so much? Our meatball sandwiches. Oh, love them. So we will have plenty to share with our neighbors, and plenty to freeze. A little bit from each one of these. When you pick them up like this to roll them, you can feel if one has a little bit more. You can kind of take from that and give to the one that got kind of chipped. Okay, here we are. They're all done. And it just took us, I don't know what, maybe 2 minutes to do them. Now I'm gonna pop them in the oven. They're gonna be there for 25 minutes. And then, there you go. We'll be back in 25 minutes and we're gonna pop them into our sauce. Be back soon. Okay, cameraman just walked in and said to me, what are you doing? And I was putting the meatballs in the sauce because I forgot we were filming. So I've got 3 meatballs left. They cooked for 25 minutes. They look beautiful. I'm gonna put the last 3 in. The rest of them are already in here. And now what they have to do is they have to just be in here for like anywhere from 20 minutes to a couple of hours, okay? So I will be back and then we will plate this and it will be done. Well, here we are and we are complete. Our meatballs are to perfection. The sauce has cooked for several hours, and all I have done now is I just plated it. I put a couple of beautiful meatballs on here, some basil from the garden, and let's just take one of the meatballs first, and let's just take a look at that. Oh my goodness, you can see how tender it is. Look at that. So let me just take a little bite. It's so flavorful. So flavorful. I think you will love it. I'm pretty sure you will. If you go to restaurants that have better meatballs than this, please send me a note, because we would like to go there too. But if we're making meatballs at home, I don't think you can find one any better than this. So be sure and subscribe, give it a shot, come back, give us a thumbs up, hit the little bell, and ingredients will be below. So thank you. We are going to have a wonderful dinner, a beautiful glass of Merlot to go with it, and we wish you the best ever. Bye. We'll see you on the next video.